Anybody have Kraken stuff to talk about?
Yeah, they're playing right now.
Yeah. They
Okay.
won. They beat the team they were supposed to beat, but they
Oh, they
can't beat
they
the team.
they just tied it up. They were down 2-0. Just tied it up.
Who are they? Yeah, that's fine. YouTube's Vancouver isn't good either. God,
No, but
beat
they
the
were
teams they
still.
should beat them. Fuckers. They lost to LA. They beat Phoenix.
Arizona, not Phoenix.
Mm.
Yeah,
What?
it has been for like no. It's been the it's been the Arizona Coyotes for at least 2 years.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Arizona.
I don't know. It's like when they changed from the Phoenix Cardinals to the Arizona Cardinals in the 90s. It's the
And
exact same
oh,
fucking
damn, that
thing.
is a fat ass. I mean, that is a massive derriere. I mean, they're just talking about Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
Gluteus
ooh.
Maximus.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
What are you doing?
God damn it.
Thanks, dude. I got him out. Where are we going to talk about? Okay. Thomas, you only got one. Would you rather?
You mean, hey, what you got?
I mean, hey, what you got? Okay. Mhm. Hello. Hello. I thought it was a good episode last week. We had a lot of really positive feedback.
We did? Who was the
Mm,
feedback?
Thomas, not Thomas. You're Thomas. Travis said that he really enjoyed the rules thing.
I knew it would be interesting.
Yeah, and uh, Vaughn really appreciated the little bit of talk about the sea dragons. He understands that like it's not going to be a huge section, but he appreciated that we talked about it and um, yeah, his season tickets. So I'm just gonna drop something in because Philip Lindsay signed with them, and Philip Lindsay was like rumored to sign with the Seahawks at one point. So it's kind of funny. Yeah, he
Yeah.
played for Denver.
Played for the Colorado Buffaloes.
He had a big fro that like poofed out the back of his helmet. Yeah, big lumpus. Um,
I can have a third hey, what you got? But Thomas, this is gonna be kind of a question directed at you.
yeah, right.
No, it's about the live golfers at the
Hmm.
Masters.
You were lagging, my friend.
Me?
Oh, oh, it's my connection unstable. Weird. Oh,
I don't
I'm on
want to
my.
know. I don't want to know your opinion now. Don't tell me now. But actually, before we do something though, do you have one?
Did I disconnect? Am I
Oh,
here? Can you can you hear me?
perfect. I love it.
Am I here?
Yes, Nate, we can hear you.
Fuck, everything froze. In our Masters pool, Jake picked two live golfers as his tandem, and he was ridiculed. Do you want to know who I picked?
Sure.
Jason Day and Zalatoris.
The kid from Happy Gilmore.
Hold
He
on.
looks exactly like his caddy. He looks exactly like Happy Gilmore's caddy, Will Zalatoris.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
Zalatoris.
it's fucking hilarious. Like Google Zalatoris Happy Gilmore, and you'll see it.
Hmm. Was that the little blonde kid?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Uh, okay.
I have you know what? No, never mind. I'm not going to bring it up. I'll text it to you guys. It's not podcast worthy.
Did I ever tell you that I have a super crush on Anna Kendrick? Oh, yeah, I forgot you did
Dude,
too.
I've seen all three Pitch Perfect movies.
I think we've all seen all the Pitch Perfect movies.
Jeannie thinks I'm crazy because it's when it's on TV, I'll watch it. But I'm more of a I'm more of a Britney Snow fan than Anna Kendrick, though. Oh, by the way, the Kraken just scored again. So they have the lead now.
Definitely can't say that, but an interesting would you rather. I heard the
A
Chibli's moving to Seattle.
can
It's exciting, man. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's a good thing for you.
we start?
It's way less bullshit you got to deal with. Wait, is dipshit moving out here?
Oh shit. Oh shit. Guys, it's April. It's the first week of the month.
First week of the month.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
We have to have a Tyson zone this week.
Tyson Zone.
I already got mine.
Tyson Zone before or after would you rather?
After. Before. 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 Before.
Before.
Yeah. All right. Let's get this.
Then we should go quicker on everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sports predictions is going to be very fast this week.
Cool. And then do you have a Tyson Zone, Thomas? Live golf. There you go. That's your Tyson Zone. You get a lot weirder. Yeah, man. Live on the intrawebs. Fired up. I have amazing comedic timing. Hey, Thomas. Welcome back. How was your vacation? Awesome. Love it. Hmm. Oh, glad to hear that. We missed you. Hey, it's the first show of the month, guys. Guess what that means? At the end, we have Tyson Zone. But before that, we do around the sound, talk a little bit about the Kraken's wild card push. Mariners opening day. I went. It was fun. Seattle Sounders. Huh?
Haven't won since.
Real nice. Seattle Sounders, another road win. Talk a little area college basketball. We're going to drop in a little Sea Dragons. Finish up our March Madness with sportspredictions.net. We'll go into Hey, What You Got? And then we'll finish up with Tyson Zone, Would You Rather, and closing questions. So around the sound. What's cracking with the Kraken? Looks like a wild card. Yeah. Looks like a wild card. They're still 5 points up, right?
Yeah, I mean they're a middle of the road team. They lose to teams ahead of them. They beat teams behind them. They're a pretty average team to me right now, but it looks like that is going to be good enough to get them in the playoffs.
That's great. They right now they line up to play Minnesota, so that's interesting. I mean, they're a good team. Uh Not much to say. They're winning right now. They said they scored another goal. We're recording this on Tuesday, the 4th.
Yeah, Martin Jones allowed 2 goals in the first 4 shots, and like we said a couple weeks ago, once again, they got off to a slow start, down 2-0. Yanni Gord scored a goal to make it 2-1 at the end of one, and they've scored 2 goals in the second period to take a 3-2 lead.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah, they.
Seattle.
Oh, I was just gonna say they play the Coyotes. They played them yesterday. They won. They play them 2 times in the next week. Yeah, they play them twice in the next week, so it's another chance to rack up some wins, get some points, and get some momentum heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, do it. It'll be exciting. Nice. Seattle Seahawks. Not a lot going on. Draft's coming up 3 weeks away, something like that. A lot of yeah, there you go. A lot of chatter around trades and quarterbacks and illusion and who's taking who. And this is like the interesting part of like the cloak and dagger movements of the teams. And it's always funny to say like, Carolina one day will say it's, Stroud, and the next day it'll say it's Richardson, and then they'll go back to Stroud, and because they know that the Texans like Stroud and they want the Texans to give him like a 4th round pick to move up one spot or some shit like that. But yeah, this is all the rumor mill happening right now. So
Yeah, I'm not going to dive too much into the Seahawks draft because we're actually going to talk about it a little bit later. There's a tease, boys. But I am a little disappointed in you, Nate, because a few weeks ago I brought up that the Seahawks had the trade of Carolina moving up to number one means more likely the Seahawks are going to trade down, and you cut that whole segment that I had talking about how they were going to trade down. So it's lost in the ether, and now it's looking more and more likely like the Seahawks could trade down. And I said it before I heard it on the radio, even. And I'm a little disappointed that there's no record of it. So thanks, Nate.
I bet it's more likely they trade up than down. Hot take.
I I think that's completely and utterly wrong because this administration doesn't trade up. But
I know.
again, we will talk about that again a little bit later.
Yes. All right. Seattle Mariners.
Well,
Opening day. They won on opening day. I was there.
yeah.
It was really fun. It was nice to be there. It was a beautiful day. I got to check out. Well, I wanted to talk about what's outside the stadium first.
Did you go to Hatback?
The Hatback. I'll answer your question in a second. The Hatback, it was pretty cool. I really like the vibe. It's nice to have like a beer garden, across the street that holds a ton of people. So like you never felt crunched. You never felt like you needed to like worry about getting a drink. They had a really cool ticketing system, so you would go and buy tickets for the amount of drinks that you want, and you just like walk up to the bar with like nobody there and get a beer or a cocktail, and it was actually kind of nice. There was a line for the tickets, but there were like kiosks everywhere. So, um, but yeah, once getting into the stadium, Din Tai Fung was there, and it was very busy. It was a fun environment, man. I just like opening day. The kids running around the bases at the beginning always gets me crying, and like uh the kid running out and stealing second base, like all that cute stuff. I just really like opening day. It's like a new hope. We've talked about it before. And then the losses happened. So they've gone 0-4 since. They are currently up 7-0,
8.
8-0. Looks like Teoscar hit 2 home runs because I benched him on my fantasy team. And Pollock dinged one out, looks like. Nice. So more offense today than the previous 4 games. That's fun.
Yeah, it was a struggle those 4 games. They just weren't doing the things that they did last year to win games. They were playing sloppy defensively. The bullpen was walking too many hitters, and it's just something that you haven't seen from the Mariners the last few years. So hopefully it's just an aberration. Um, and then they turned it around. It's looking good today. You never want to say must win, in April, because it's not. But this is going to be really important for them, I think, because they're facing Otani tomorrow, and they didn't want to go into an Otani start on a 5-game losing streak. So I think this
Mhm.
win is really, really important.
I Yeah, it's 162 games. Relax. I do have some interesting points. The first game, opening day, was 2 hours and 25 minutes. It was a rocket shot. It was awesome. And I just wanted to go over some numbers from the last year versus this year with the pitch clock thing. So the average time a game is 2 hours and 38 minutes, down from 309. So saved 30 minutes per game. Um, the stolen bases is up 40 over last year at the same time. And there have been 40 pitch clock violations, which is like less than one per game, which is pretty cool. And one ejection, which we'll talk about later.
You guys are
All right.
killing me.
Kill me, Smalls.
That was my idea to bring that up. Oh, that's okay. I shouldn't toot my own horn.
Seattle
This is a team effort.
Sounders. They won on the road again. You No, last week. The week before. Yes. Yeah. So they are 2-9-1 in their last 13, which is great. 12. They are currently 4-1-1 on the year, which is a pretty good start. It was an interesting game. I mean, it looked like Sounders were in control most of the first half. Galaxy came out with a flurry, put one in. Ended 2-1. The ending was a little bit frantic, but I think the Sounders did what they needed to do to get a win on the road. And not the easiest place to play. It's a down team, but I mean, it's always hard to go into, what do they call it now, Home Depot Center, or whatever it's called. Big game this weekend coming up on Saturday against St. Louis, who's 5-0-1. Very surprising start for an expansion franchise. Really curious to see what they're going to look like coming in here. As we know, Lumen Field is not an easy place to play for a lot of people. So it'd be really interesting to see the two top of the table go at it this early in the season. I'm really looking forward to it. Timbers had a draw. Effing Timbers. They're 1, 2, and 3 on the year. Just want to drop that in there because, that chop them down, throw them on top. All right, Seattle Sea Dragons, really quick. They've won 5 in a row. I think that's interesting. They are a local team, but they signed Philip Lindsay. I think it's an interesting signing for any team running June Jones' system. I think he fits that well, and he was rumored to come to the Seahawks at one point, so it's kind of funny that he ended up in Seattle one way or another. But yeah, I mean they have a big game this weekend against the other top team, DC, and we'll see what happens. Area college basketball with Brian.
Yeah, so the national championship game was last night, and as ESPN does every year, within minutes of the national championship game ending, they have their way too early rankings for the 2023-2024 season. I love looking at it. They're usually wrong, but it's fun to take a look at. Gonzaga checks in at number 21. Well, Drew Timmy's leaving. Julian Strother and Anton Watson both might leave, but the news has come out in the last 48 hours that 3 players have elected to transfer. 2 of them did not get very many meaningful minutes last year, and Dominic Harris and Efton Reed. Reed was a center. He was a transfer from LSU, former 5-star prospect, but never really was able to crack the rotation. Just committed too many fouls, was too clumsy in the lane. Ben Gregg replaced him. So Ben Gregg was going to be in the starting lineup. So Efton Reed is going to be transferring for the second time in 2 years. Dominic Harris came in with Julian Strother and Jalen Suggs. And then he played actually quite a bit his freshman year. Has been injured the last 2 years. Wasn't really able to crack the lineup this year. And so he's going to look for a place where he can get more minutes. Those 2 were not surprising to me. The third one was, though, Hunter Salas, who Nate, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, or it might have been last week, was one of the main reasons why Gonzaga beat UCLA because of his defense. He played almost the entire second half. He got a lot of minutes. He was probably going to be a starting guard next year, but it sounds like he is going to be transferring as well. And I think this is not a terrible thing for Gonzaga because it was between him and Malachi Smith for the last starting spot. And I think Malachi Smith is going to be coming back. And it's more likely he's coming back since Hunter Salas is transferring. And I really would be interested to see Malachi Smith at the starting lineup. So it's kind of, it's always disappointing to lose players like that, especially 2 former 5-star recruits, but we wish them best. And then we'll see. Gonzaga is always active in the transfer portal themselves. They also came out with the way too early women's college basketball poll, and WSU actually checked in at number 25. So they have been ranked once in the last 30 years, and it was in 2022 for 1 week. So the fact that they're even getting some preseason attention is really cool, and hopefully they can do some big things next year.
Well, thanks, y'all. We'll be right back with sportspredictions.net. Maybe. Brian knows as much about college basketball as you do about soccer and F1. Welcome back, everybody. Sportspredictions.net with Brian, finishing up March Madness in April.
Yep, we have our best pick from March Madness. Last week we said UConn was going to win the national
Yeah.
championship. Uh, really, thank you, thank you. It was basically the only thing I got right last in the NCAA tournament. We actually talked about this last week. I actually set a record for me. I picked all four Final Four teams to lose in the first round, Thomas. Yeah. So, like I said, this tournament was not the best way for me to prove my sports predictions. But I was right about the one seed. So thank you for acknowledging that, Thomas.
I was
Um,
super impressed with UConn, like the whole tournament, man. Like unbelievable.
well, yeah, I mean, they just the defense, those two
Hmm.
7-footers were just outstanding, and
Hmm.
the shooting. Jordan Hawkins has the smoothest stroke I have seen in college basketball in years. I
Steph
was
Curry.
gonna say Ray Allen.
Hmm.
Steph Curry's wasn't that smooth. Steph Curry's is quick.
Just quick, yeah.
Jordan Hawkins is so smooth. He's always square. His feet are always set. It's exactly what you would teach a kid. If I was still coaching, I would say, go watch that kid shoot a basketball. That is how you shoot a basketball right. It's absolutely outstanding. And he played his way into the first round of the NBA draft this year. So it was cool to see UConn. I like Dan Hurley. I like his story. He is admitted in the last few years he was way too demonstrative on the sideline when he first got the UConn coaching job, and he has toned down a lot. He's always been a good coach, but he reeled it in a little bit internally, and I think that helped internalize some of the stuff he needed to do and helped move them forward into the NCAA tournament. I think he's a very good coach, and I could see them winning again.
Looks like the players really love playing for him too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh,
You notice that a lot. Yeah. It's a 5 timer. Hey, good
we
job, San Diego State, though, man. I mean, they shot what 29% in the first half, and I mean, I don't think anybody recovers from that against that team. But they brought it within 5 at one point, and it was looking like it was going to be a game. But then UConn just shut them down.
and we would be remiss if we didn't bring up San Diego State, Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
an
a
amazing
fun
game.
game. San Diego State was down by 14, came back. The, there was 14 minutes left when they were down by 14. Yeah. I am very surprised that the coach did elected not to use a timeout there. Because he had his best offensive players on the bench, but I did
It
not.
was so good. Just went with it.
Sometimes, honestly, the best play in the last few seconds is no play at all because, yeah, you're going to be running around frantically, but the defense is going to be frantic as well.
Yeah, go with the flow.
But the composure for that kid to hit that shot, it was very impressive. So it was a well played game. Props to Florida Atlantic. That team is going to be real good next year, and we are going to talk about them a little bit. And hey, what you got? But it was overall it was a fun tournament. There was a lot of upsets, like we thought there would be. Like we talked about, there was a lot of parity. No one seeds made the Elite Eight. We had a 9 seed making the Final Four. We had 2 5 seeds making the Final Four. So it was a lot of fun. It was not very predictable, but in the end, Like you guys said, it was a team that's won the most national championships the last quarter century to get another one. Lock of the week, we are going back to golf, which we did a while ago and we almost hit. Favorite tournament of the year. I know Thomas isn't a big Masters guy because he doesn't really like Augusta, but we are going to go with the Masters. We have 3 different picks.
Three.
3 from what we think maybe most likely to least likely. But first lock, Tiger makes the cut. I know he's, 47 years old. He's playing on one leg, but it's Augusta. He will find a way to make the cut. Second one, Scotty Scheffler. He will finish in the top 5. I don't think he's going to win. Don't think he's going to repeat, but I think he will finish in the top 5. He's playing really well again at the start of the year. He's won at least 1, if not 2 tournaments. So he's in fine form, just like he was at this time last year. But we are going with our lock of the week as Jon Rahm winning the Masters.
I like that pick.
He's not bad.
Yeah, he was the number 1 pick in our pool, and everybody was like, "Oh, yeah, it's a good pick." You never ask. Next time we do a U.S. Open and all that. So, oh, real nice, Thomas. I thought you were trying to be friendly.
So yeah, Jon Rahm wins. Scotty Scheffler top 5. Tiger makes the cut.
Right on. We'll be right back with Hey, What You Got? Sassy today. It was half as good. No, it was good. It was great. I thought the energy was good. We reminded each other to keep energy up.
2/3 as good.
It's 2/3 as good. All right, Brian, I moved you to the top.
Which one?
Hey, what you got for the too early to pick top 25? But okay. I think you talked about it already.
A little bit, but just some more things.
Okay. Hold on. I'm just gonna move this around so it's balanced. Brian, Nate, Thomas, Brian, Nate, Thomas, Brian. How about that? Thomas, is that okay if I move you above the live golf question?
Nate, I think your 2 are pretty similar.
They are. But I definitely have things to say about Caitlin Clark. I definitely have things to say about the taunting. So they're debate it.
Okay.
Fine. Fuckers. Welcome back, everybody. It's my favorite segment. Hey, what you got? So, Brian, what you got?
Well, like I said earlier, ESPN came out with their way too early college basketball poll for the 2023-2024 season. They've got UConn as the number 1 team. It makes sense. They're returning pretty much everybody. They actually have a couple of recruits coming in as well. Jordan Hawkins is probably going to go. Sonogo is probably going to go, but they're just going to replace him with another 7-footer. So UConn is the number 1 team and will be the favorite to win the national championship next year. A couple of interesting points. Marquette was number 2. So they have Big East teams in the number 1 and number 2 spots. And then they have, Duke and Kentucky, because Duke and Kentucky are always in the top 5. Duke's 3, Kentucky's 4. Kentucky's bringing in 4 of the top 11 prospects, 4 of the top 11 recruits, including the numbers 1, 2, and 4 recruits. So it's going to be another year like that for Kentucky. It's just whether they're going to be ultra talented, whether they can put it all together. But the interesting one, Florida Atlantic came in at number 5, which I thought was interesting. They are bringing everybody back except for one bench guy. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Creighton comes in at number 10. So the Big East had three teams in the top 10. They are expected to be probably the best conference. There's a couple of Big 12 teams. Actually, there's three Big 12 teams in there as well, with Kansas at 7, Houston, who's going to be joining the Big 12 next year, at 9. So those are Big 12 is going to be good as well. And then Gonzaga, like we mentioned in the Around the Sound, comes in at 21. That number might change a little bit depending on all of these numbers are going to change depending on transfers, who leaves, who comes, who goes, so it's going to be interesting. Transfer portal's going to make every offseason interesting. But I just wanted to bring that up. And then, we haven't had a repeat champion in 16 years since Florida in 06-07. Now,
Wow.
the last before that, it was about 16 years, excuse me, with Duke. So it's about 16 years. So we're about due. Do you think UConn can repeat as the national champion?
Is that a question for us?
Yes, it is.
Oh man, it's so hard. And you saw this year how crazy it was. I would probably say no.
Okay. I think they can. I
Yeah, every win by 10 points in the tournament. Jeez.
Yeah,
Their team built to win a tournament.
they are a very, very good team, and I could see them. I think they have one of the best chances in recent memory of repeating. Um, that being said, I probably, if I'm in Vegas, sometime before the next college basketball season, I probably would put some money on them. Obviously, I have to put money on Gonzaga since I'm a Gonzaga fan, but I think UConn will and should be the prohibitive favorite going into the next season. Hey Nate, what you got?
All right. I want to talk a little bit about Caitlin Clark and how she took the world by storm. And she's a very unique player. I just wanted to give props to beating South Carolina. That team was ridiculous. South Carolina was five players deep that were just world beaters. And similar to like what happens with Gonzaga when they play UCLA, I think Iowa was beat down a little bit and they were beaten by, the better team ultimately. But she's a very unique player, and I read that she has about $300,000 a year in name, image, and license at Iowa, and that's more money than she can make in the WNBA as a rookie. And so everybody's anticipating that she stays to play out her career there. And I think that's really interesting. She's done a really interesting things marketing herself, and I think she's a very, very unique player. The only person I can compare her to is Steph Curry. Just the court vision, the quick step, the shooting from any distance, that kind of thing. And it was really fun to watch her play. And the women's tournament is not something I typically go out of the way to watch, but I did this year. Yeah. And South Carolina was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, LSU was a lot of fun to watch, even though their coach bugs the crap out of me. But I mean,
Oh, me too, Nate.
she like walks like 6 feet out on the floor. It bugs the crap out of me. And she like goes down to like half court. Come on, lady, like stay in your lane.
And she wears the
Jeez.
most ridiculous clothes.
I mean, it's Louisiana. That
Thomas,
bothers me less than her actions. But
well, honestly, her overall attitude towards life is what bothers me the most.
yeah. Hey Thomas, what you got? Oh, come on, guy. First shutout. So great.
No, it's brutal. I'm going against him in fantasy this week. It, what's even more impressive is Julio's first career home run came off of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Wow. Nice.
yeah, and the top 6 hitters in the lineup all have 2 hits each. Oh yeah, it is me again. Sorry, it was me. I thought it was Nate. I apologize. So we had our, like Thomas brought up in the Around the Sound, we had our first pitch clock ejection. Anyone surprised at all that it was Manny Machado?
Zero surprised. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. Well, maybe JD Martinez.
I still don't get your hatred for JD Martinez.
I hate
I
that
don't
guy
get
so
it.
much.
I don't get it. But yeah, Machado. So it was, I think, a 2-2 count, and Machado. Oh, it was 3-2. Okay. In the first inning, and Machado tried to call time. I think it was right at 8 seconds, and he wasn't granted. Called for strike 3. Was arguing with the umpire, and the umpire ended up ejecting him. I think all 3 of us are on the same page here with Manny Machado. None of us are really big fans of his. Oh, yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it
Still slides
was,
with spikes up.
yeah, and he still on purpose steps on players at first base. Very good player, don't get me wrong, but
Very
it's
good player.
just, I mean, of all the players, and it's funny too. He was the first person ever to get called for a pitch clock violation as well. So he now has the distinct record of being the first person called for a pitch clock violation and the first person ejected because of a pitch clock violation.
Oh man, the Karinchak, is that, how do you say his name for Cleveland? Oh man, that energy on opening day when he had the pitch clock violation, they started counting down. Oh, that was so fun. And then he like threw one to the backstop. It was so great. Sorry. Uh
Yeah, it's gonna be, and I was watching a Yankees Giants game. Camilo Doval, it was the same thing. He had 2 pitch clock violations in the 9th inning. Uh, and somehow, the Yankees loaded the bases, and Doval somehow got out of it, got the save, got Stanton to hit into a double play. But it's really bringing an extra element into the 9th inning. And I know we
yeah.
talked about it a few weeks ago where we thought in a safe situation maybe they shouldn't have that, but at the same time, it's almost adding an extra element to the 9th inning. So it's making it really interesting. Hey Nate, what you got?
All right. So the women's final happened, and there was a lot of talk about taunting coming out of it. So Caitlin Clark waved her hand in front of her face in the previous game to another player. The LSU team apparently took offense to this, which I don't really understand. And they had the same reaction towards her at the end of the game. Don't care. Like, that's great. Gamemanship. I love it. The thing that bothered me was following Caitlin Clark around and doing it 3 or 4 times and, like really rubbing it in when the game was over. That's the only thing that bothered me. I think that taunting should be allowed. I think that shit talking should be allowed. I think it's part of the game. But man, when you're winning and when you win a championship, like make your point, move on, go celebrate. Like don't follow the one of the better players around just because your butt hurt, right? And obviously the player that was doing it was also a very good player. But I don't think it's a good look.
I think they take after the personality of their coach.
Oh, nice. Again,
I get Kim Mulkey is a terrible, terrible human being. That too.
insane closing, but that's Louisiana. That's how I feel about it.
And she did it in Texas. She did it in Texas too. But
Yeah, I know.
it's honestly, I didn't really care. I mean, yeah, it was kind of, petty following her around, but I read an article today where seeing the pettiness in the women's game almost brought it closer to the men's game, because the men's game has had stuff like that for years, and you haven't heard about that in the women's league. But you know what? We're talking about it now. So it's almost to me like the women's college basketball is getting closer and closer to the men's. It didn't hurt that this tournament had a Caitlin Clark and had an Aaliyah Boston and had, the best
South
players
Carolina
and had the best players and the best teams in the Final Four, whereas the men's
of all time.
didn't.
Yeah.
The men's tournament didn't. So it almost took some of the focus off of the men and towards
Hmm.
the women. Yep.
Hey Thomas, what you got? Oh, hey Thomas, what you got? Fact check. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say it's a second rounder. Oh, oh, oh. I mean, if you're Houston and you want to get Stroud and you think he's the guy, smart to do that from Carolina.
And a lot less money for 4 years too.
Oh man, Lamar Jackson's an interesting topic.
What's the spoiler? Oh, okay. Like we said in sports predictions, the Masters is this week. It's going to be the first time for the live golfers to face off against the PGA golfers since the live tour started. So I just had a question for both of you guys. Do you care at all? Do you think the live golfers should be able to participate? What's kind of your take on that?
Is the Masters an open or is it an invite?
It's an
Wasn't my question, it was Brian's question.
well, so
That was the question. I was wondering, actually, genuinely. But then I remembered you talked about this one time. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. This is going to be the first time that these live golfers have golfed for 4 days in a while instead of three. You have people like Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka that are, really good for 54 holes. Normally they're good for 72. They haven't played 72 in major tournaments or in any tournaments for a while. I think it's going to be interesting. Can you see a case where maybe a live golfer has the lead after 54 holes and then kind of falls apart on Sunday?
That was
Or do you
actually one thing that I was going to mention is their conditioning up for this kind of tournament. Um, and it'll be really interesting. I think it's going to be a fun tournament to watch, regardless, because the golf being played right now is it's pretty top notch. You got 5 or 6 people that could win the whole thing without even sniffing, anything. So it's pretty fun, and I like a huge golfer, like golf fan. I like the game. I like playing it when I get a chance to. I don't go out of my way to play it. I pay attention to the majors, and but yeah, this group right now is pretty special, and they've captured my interest for sure. Well, well, thanks everybody. We'll be right back. It's closing questions. I mute it like I need to. That's funny. Yeah, meetings. Fuck, I hate. Ugh, my job sucks right now. I got head butted in the nose today by Hannah, and it hurts like a mofo. I'm not having a good day. Oh, that's nice. Thanks. This makes my day better. Wish Brian would say nice things like that.
You got to earn it.
No. We ready? Welcome
Yep.
back, everybody.
Nate, I love you.
I love you too, buddy. Welcome back, everybody. First show of the month. Got some Tyson Zone. I have a Tyson Zone.
I do too.
All right, Brian, hit us with it.
My Tyson zone, and this has been my Tyson zone in the past, and it's going to be my Tyson zone again, is the Arizona
Oh,
Cardinals.
what happened now?
So today it came out that the ex-Cardinals vice president has accused the owner of cheating.
Cheating like on his wife or cheating in
No.
football?
So I don't know if you guys remember. But a few years ago, the Arizona GM got a DUI, and so he was suspended from the league for 5 weeks. Was not supposed to have any contact. Well, the rumor is, and the story is, that the owner bought the coach and the vice president burner phones to contact the GM so they could keep making moves, even though he wasn't supposed to be
Oh, good Lord,
talking
that's
to
great.
them.
I had no idea that this happened. That's awesome.
This just came out today, and it's and literally the article on ESPN says ex-Cardinals VP Terry McDonough accuses owner of cheating. Like, you can't make this story up. It's too unbelievable. This is the perfect Tyson zone, and this just proves the Cardinals' dysfunction. And we have talked about it ad nauseum, and this is just another layer for the Cardinals, and it makes me chuckle. Hey, Thomas, who you got?
Oh, dude needs an agent. Yeah. So it also came out today that the Patriots are shopping Mac Jones in their first, right? Like Lamar Jackson should sign the tender, let Baltimore trade him to the Patriots, pick up the first, get Mac Jones, have a stopgap, figure out what's going on, and like be over with it. Like he can go to the Patriots and like tear up the contract. I mean, the problem is nobody wants to pay a quarterback like that money. It's risky, like somebody who runs like, I mean, we saw Cam Newton, he was functional for 8 years, right? Like Lamar's been in league 5. That's risky. Yeah. It's He's a very unique player and he's a very interesting player. And I would hope that you could pay him a large contract and he would live up to it. I highly doubt it based off of how he plays. And with any running back and any running quarterback, anybody who punishes their body, it's hard to live up to. Mm-hmm. Help. Yeah. That's a good one too. Man, you both got good ones. I think mine's lame now. I was just gonna say the NCAA tournament. I had the best first 2 rounds of my life, and I lost 4 Sweet 16 teams and 2 of my final teams. Like it was rough, and like the games were really fun, and I really liked seeing different players and people I hadn't really heard about and all of that. But man, this year just was off the hook, and like we've said it before, it's the best tournament out there, and it's always so fun. Mhm. Yeah, that's fine. I think both of you guys have really good ones, man. Uh, the Brian one, just because I hate the Cardinals, and that's awesome. Oh, good job, Brian.
Chalk up another one for me, boys.
All right. I think you're definitely leading with 3 or 4, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it was my idea, so I better. I have to come to the plate with something good.
All right. We'll be right back with Would You Rather. Just going to put a break in there. Seems right. Welcome back, everybody. Brian, got a Would You Rather today?
I do. I do. This is a Seattle Seahawks at number 5 edition.
Oh,
So what we're assuming here is that CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are going 1 and 2. Okay.
safe assumption.
May not happen, but for this exercise, and it doesn't matter which order, but for this exercise, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are off the board. Okay.
Harder and Anderson.
Yes. Yes. So the first one that I am going to ask you guys, if CJ Stroud is 1, Bryce Young is 2, or vice versa, would you trade up or trade down for the number 5 pick?
Well, who trades up or trade down? Like
The
another team?
Seahawks. No, the
Oh,
Seahawks. Trade up or trade down.
I think you need to see what happens at 3, honestly, to really understand.
Why? But you could
Mhm.
trade up to 3.
Uh, yeah, I, I, I personally would trade up to go get Will Anderson. I think he's the player that fits what Seahawks need. And I don't think you risk letting that guy go to Arizona. You let Arizona make the tough decision on Jalen Carter. Mm-hmm. What you really hope is that some desperate quarterback team trades up to three and the four quarterbacks go one, two, three, four. I would trade up. Yes. Yes. I would trade up.
Thomas?
I would go get Will Anderson.
Yeah, I would trade down as well. I think you have a chance to stockpile more picks. I would love Will Anderson. We are going to be bringing him up here in a minute, but I think that you have a chance to stockpile even more draft capital, and moving down maybe from 5 to even 7 with the Raiders could net you something. Maybe moving from 5 to 10 could net you something. I know Houston has talked about maybe taking Will Anderson number 2 and then moving up. I know for this exercise they can't, but so I would trade down and get more assets. I think the reason why I would trade down is because the to me the biggest areas of need for the Seahawks are defensive tackle and linebacker. Those spots are not very good in the draft this year. So you could trade down to 15 and probably get the guy that you would want at 5 if you are drafting a defensive tackle or a linebacker. There's probably not going to be any linebackers drafted in the top half of the first round.
Honestly,
So
if you can't get Will Anderson, I think you get Tyree Wilson, right? He's a guy that fits their style and size. Sorry, we're divulging.
yes.
Go for would you
So
rather.
we will definitely talk about this more here in the next coming weeks. By the way, everybody that you have brought up is in the would you rather. So
Oh,
this is just kind of a would you rather if the Seahawks stay at 5. The first one is Tyree Wilson or Jalen Carter.
Tyree Wilson. Yeah, I he fits everything that they want to do and need to do. They still have a real problem at interior defensive line, but that guy can play the classic Bruce Irvin position, right? And then he could also slide to a defensive end when they go with 4 down, right? Like I just like his size. I like what he does.
Would you have thought this a month ago?
No,
Thomas, you're nodding your head. Yes, you would have thought Tyree Wilson over Jalen Carter a month ago.
I would not. I no, I wouldn't.
Okay. Oh man, if he falls to 20 and you get Tyree Wilson at 5 and Carter at 20,
Yeah, and Eagles will take him at
I'm
11
hearing
or
the
whatever.
Eagles are going to take Bijan Robinson. But anyways,
Oh, that guy. I want that guy too. Man.
okay. So I think we all have said that Will Anderson is the best defensive player, and he's the one we would want the most. Will Anderson over Jalen Carter and Will Anderson over Tyree Wilson. Is that correct, Nate?
I am.
Okay. So here is my question. if the Seahawks stay at 5 and both of these players are available, Will Anderson or Anthony Richardson?
Will Anderson. I man, I get so scared by the people that are talking about Richardson's floor being very low. Yeah. Like that scares me because he's going to be expected to compete for a position next year and I don't think a guy like that on a playoff team that high draft capital.
Okay, Mike Ditka. So that still doesn't answer my question, though, Thomas. Although I guess in a kind of a roundabout way it does. You would take Will Anderson over Anthony Richardson. I would
Yeah.
too.
And then Hooker is my target.
So,
He's a
okay.
natural sit a year and they can run with Gino and compete next year.
Okay. So I think what um okay, so I think you guys would you take either Stroud or Young over Will Anderson if for some reason they fall to 5?
If Stroud is there, you take him. Yeah. If Stroud is there, yeah.
But not
I
Bryce
think
Young.
he's no, I think he's too tiny.
Okay.
He's what, 5'10", 200 pounds? Like
Final would you rather?
oh,
Anthony Richardson or Will Levis?
ooh. Levis.
Why, Nate?
Big arm. You could build the team around him. He doesn't have to do a lot. He's not that much different from Gino, and he's not as big of a project. He could sit a year and be okay
So
and compete.
would you have Will Levis as your number 3 quarterback? No, like in the draft.
Oh, in the draft? Ooh, yeah, probably.
See, between those two, I'm taking Richardson. Will Levis just has so many Tim Couch vibes to me that I just there's something there.
Wilson from the Jets. Yeah, like
I
I get it. Um, I
I would go with upside there.
I think you trade out if those guys are there and if somebody wants them. Yeah. But
Yes.
Will Levis is my pick because he's not as far away. He could compete in year 2, and if you're going to spend that draft capital, you only have the guy for 5 years, so you better start playing him quick. And if Gino beats him out year 2, then good on Gino.
Okay.
Stroud is definitely the lowest or the highest floor. I think he'll be serviceable regardless of whatever you do. Yeah, take that. Get you to the playoffs. Is that it, Brian?
Yep, that's it.
That was a good one. Thanks. Uh, a preface to our Seahawks special. Do we have a closing question brought to us by?
Brought to us by Random Word Generator today.
Oh, going back. I was going
Yep,
to say if you did the UW one, everybody should go see the cherry blossoms. They're really beautiful right now.
we kind of
A prompt. Both are right. Most of the time.
All right.
No, all right. I'm
Random
often
word
wrong.
generators random question. What do you know how to do that's useless?
Oh, shit.
The first thing that comes to your mind for me, it's juggling.
Yeah,
I can,
that's
I so
party
I
favor.
I can actually juggle three pool balls, switch to two in one hand, keep juggling the two in one hand,
Hmm.
drop the third ball, pick up a beer, drink the beer, put the beer down, pick the pool ball up, and go back to juggling three. That would be without a doubt the coolest thing that I know how to do that is completely useless.
I'm not. I don't have a ton of useful thing knowledge, but I have really unique useful thing knowledge, which a lot of people come to me for, like working on espresso machines. uh, what's something useless?
Nate's ability to make a lineup in softball.
Pretty fucking good. Still haven't won a ship though. Damn it. Gotta roll the lineup over. The only thing that comes to mind is I can listen to music and identify when the same notes have been used in different songs and go to those songs and like talk to people about it. It's it's pretty
The
useless.
is it the four chords thing?
It's
Have you
similar
seen?
to that. Like you can hear a riff from one band and be like, oh man, this band used a similar riff, and like just bring it up and listen to it side by side. And
Hey, I can do
um
that too. In fact, I could tell you one time I know I heard it. Vanilla Ice.
oh, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's the only thing that comes to mind for me.
Dun, 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 dun.
It was different though. It goes
I was gonna say Ice T or Ice Cube. I couldn't remember Vanilla Ice's name. That's why I paused.
vanilla iced tea cubed. Yeah. So good.
Nate, do you have a dad joke
Uh,
for us to end the show?
oh man, you gotta put me on the spot with a dad joke.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I heard a really good one the other day. Yeah.
Sure.
Nice
What?
belt.
Oh, that's a good one.
When does a joke become a dad joke?
When it's so cheesy.
When it becomes apparent.
Oh, damn it. You got me.